Today, we are diving into a productivity classic that is, well, it's simple, it's powerful, and yeah, it's a little weird. It's Brian Tracy's Eat That Frog. So if you're one of those people who constantly feels busy but not really productive, then you are in the right place. Let's get into it.
All right, let's kick things off with what Brian Tracy calls the modern productivity trap. You know the feeling, right? There's just too much to do and never enough time. The emails, the projects, the personal tasks, they just keep piling up and up and up.
Does that sound a little too familiar? You spend your entire day working, you're constantly busy, but when you get to the end of it, you look back and feel like you haven't made any real progress on the things that actually matter. You're just stuck in a cycle of being busy but not really being productive.
Okay, so here's the core argument from Brian Tracy, and it might be a little tough to hear. The hard truth is, you will never get on top of everything. No matter how many productivity hacks you learn, there will always be more to do than you could ever possibly accomplish. So the solution isn't doing more, it's all about doing the right things. So, what's the way out of this trap? Well, it leads us right to the heart of this whole thing, the Eat That Frog rule. And yeah, it sounds a little strange, but it is an elegant solution. So what on earth is a frog? Well, your frog is that one task. The one task that can have the greatest positive impact on your life and on your results right now. It's usually big, it's often difficult, and it's the thing you know you should be doing, but you find a million other smaller, easier things to do instead.
And this quote from the book just illustrates the core principle perfectly. If you have two important tasks on your plate, you have to start with the biggest, the hardest, the most significant one first. You have to discipline yourself to tackle that monster before you do anything else.
So here's our game plan. We've talked about the problem and the basic rule. Now, we're going to break down the 3 practical steps to put it into practice. How to find your frog, how to rank your frogs, and finally, how to eat it.
All right, let's get into it. Step 1 is all about finding your frog, because before you can eat it, you have to know exactly what it is. And that comes down to the power of clarity.
Now, this is a really crucial point. We often put things off, not because we're lazy, but because we're just unclear. When you don't know exactly what you're supposed to do or what order to do it in, or even why you're doing it, your brain will naturally drift toward easier, more defined tasks, even if they're totally useless. Clarity is the antidote to that.
And Tracy gives us a super straightforward 7-step formula for this. Number 1, decide exactly what you want. Be specific. 2, write it down. A goal that's not in writing is just a wish, right? 3, set a deadline. 4, make a list of every single step you need to take to get there. 5, organize that list into a real plan. 6, take action on your plan immediately. And 7, do something every single day that moves you forward.
Okay, so you have your plan, but let's be real. You probably have a bunch of things on that list. How do you pick the most important one? That brings us to step 2, which is all about ruthless prioritization. The first tool for this is a classic you've probably heard of, the 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle. It basically says that 20% of your efforts will produce 80% of your results. Now here's the problem. Most people procrastinate on that vital 20%, the frogs, and instead they busy themselves with the trivial 80% that contribute very little. And that's the key question, isn't it? How do you separate the truly important stuff from the things that are just urgent or easy? How do you find those high-impact tasks?
Well, Tracy's solution is this brilliantly simple tool called the ABCD method. You just go through your list and label every item. Your A tasks are your frogs. They're vital with serious consequences if you don't do them, and if you have a few, you rank them A1, A2, and so on. B tasks are things you should do, but the consequences are mild. C tasks are just nice to do with no consequences at all. D is for delegate, and E is for eliminate.
Now, this requires discipline. This is the core rule of the whole method. You never, ever work on a B task if there's an A task left undone. You don't get distracted by a tadpole when there's a big frog sitting on your desk. Your A1 task is the ugliest frog of them all, and you have to eat that one first.
Okay, you found your A1 frog. You know what it is. Now comes the hardest part. Step 3, just eat it. It's all about mastering execution. You see, successful people have what Tracy calls an action orientation. They just launch directly into their major tasks. So many other people fall into the failure to execute trap. They confuse activity, endless meetings, planning, talking, with actually getting something done. They look busy, sure, but they never actually eat the frog.
So how do you build that action habit? Here are 3 keys. First, slice up the task. If the frog just looks way too big, use the salami slice method to tackle it piece by piece, or the Swiss cheese method to just punch a quick 5-minute hole in it to get started. Second, create a sense of urgency. Just keep telling yourself, do it now, do it now. And third, single-handle the task. Once you start, you work on it without distraction until it is 100% complete.
And that last point is so critical. The tendency we all have to start a task, stop, get distracted, and then come back to it later, that can increase the time it takes to finish it by as much as 500%. That's wild. Every time you switch away, you break your focus and you have to waste all this energy just getting back into the rhythm. Single-handling is a massive productivity lever.
And here's the best part. There's a powerful psychological reward waiting for you. When you complete a major task, when you finally eat that frog, your brain releases endorphins. You get a natural high, this amazing feeling of self-esteem. It makes you feel like a winner, and that creates a positive feedback loop that makes you want to tackle another frog. You can literally get addicted to accomplishment.
And this quote from Tracy really sums up the whole philosophy. This isn't just about getting more done in a day, it's about building the one fundamental habit that underpins all great success. This single skill, focusing on and completing your most important work, is the master skill for a successful career and honestly, a happy life.
Which brings it all back to you. Take a second and ask yourself right now, what is that one task that if you did it would have the greatest positive impact on your life? What is your A1? Whatever it is, go eat that frog.